The Try Guys is turning 10 years old this year, and I want to reflect on watching the Try Guys for 10 years. I am 27. I have been tuned into the Try Guys since I was 16 years old. I have watched them go from just a casual group on the internet making really funny videos, right? Guys trying things, some things really outrageous, some things just for giggles, other things truly educational, to becoming a fully fledged multimedia company, now having their own app. Shout out to them, congratulations, and bringing on a troupe of other entertainers to bring on a wider voice and greater representation to the Try Guys. Now we all know Eugene has left the Try Guys as talent. To make that clear, he's left the Try Guys as talent, but he has not left as a co-founder. And in his video to us, the fans, he says goodbye, but baby, it could just be goodbye for now. That man is working on a book. He has been acting his batootie off, right? Voice acting, live action film. He's just been doing a great job. As all the Try Guys have let us know, Keith and Zach, the Try Guys has always been a launching pad for Keith, Zach, and Eugene to invest into a broader array of individual projects and group projects as the Try Guys, as well as creating something sustainable for their friends and other people that they just come across and meet as they create this content, to give them a platform to do even greater things. Now, the Try Guys, as I said, have done a super great job at respecting their audience. When they announced that they were going to do something similar to Watcher, I'll admit I did get worried. I did get a little concerned because the Watcher debacle just happened, right? Watcher saying they're going to leave the platform of YouTube, go fully fledged on their own app and streaming service, and sort of just upload things on YouTube somewhat intermittently. Their announcement, honestly, wasn't respectful of the audience. The Try Guys announcement, so respectful. And the thing about the Try Guys is, I feel like over the 10 years, right, they left BuzzFeed, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, in a wonderful way. Shout out to whoever negotiated that contract, because they were able to retain their IP of the Try Guys, create their company, Second Try, and keep going. When they left BuzzFeed, I feel that they always wanted to grow up their content. They wanted to appeal to not only the audience that is just around for the silly, funny things, but the audience who actually cared about that educational content, or that content that just introduced you to concepts, theories, careers, so on and so on, that you're not aware of. When a group like the Try Guys is growing up with their audience, I think a lot of them sometimes get stuck in wherever they experienced their greatest success, or maybe that first big viral moment. I would say when the Try Guys first came to YouTube and announced hey, we left BuzzFeed, this is our channel, we're still the Try Guys, but we're separate of BuzzFeed and we're doing our own thing, that they were still kind of in their 2010s era, right? They were still making content like it was 2017, 2018, 2016, 2015, which is not a problem. That's the content that got them popular. That's what made sense. It brings in 1 million views. It was great for revenue. It all made sense. I don't know, right, the true inner workings of their company because I don't work for them. But I will say this. I feel like after he who shall not be named, Ned, but after Ned's departure from the company, I felt like they all felt that they were more allowed to make the content that they've always been wanting to make, especially Zach and Keith. Eugene, I don't think it's ever been a secret to anybody that Eugene has always longed to make more traditionally professional content, i.e., existing in Hollywood, doing theater, going to Broadway, things of that nature. Although we know Keith is the real Broadway star, okay, period. But Eugene has always been very vocal about wanting to pursue his writing and his acting in the more traditional sense. And that's great, and I'm glad he's been doing that. But Keith and Zach have really been able to lean into their creative endeavors and actually explore concepts that I don't think would be possible without having a whole company and a team behind them, but a team that's dedicated to them. I feel that because the Try Guys has respected their audience for so long and it has never felt like a cash grab to their audience. Also, they've always been super transparent with us. Again, when Le Scandale happened, they sat down as quickly as possible, right? Try Guys assembled to let us know what's going on and what the future of the company would look like. And now that we have the context that in that time, right, in the midst of the Food Network show, in the midst of the tour and everything, that this was also the time that Eugene initially was supposed to take his departure from the company as talent. I want to make that clear. Eugene still is a co-owner and founder. But knowing now that that was supposed to be the time that he was going to announce his departure from the company and like release his book and everything, it really just goes to show you that, like, dang, first of all, one monkey don't stop the show, but also how dedicated those three guys are to their audience and are to their employees and to this company. Like I said, I'm not a casual watcher of the Try Guys. I have been tuning in to every single episode, every single season, or what have you, of the Try Guys since I was in high school. To see them welcome in a wider cast of Try Guys or of Try Cast is really inspiring. If you are somebody who is interested in making content, interested in starting your own company, interested in multimedia, I just think the Try Guys is an excellent place to start. The Tripod, although like episodes are funny and goofy, please, for real, go listen to maybe their last 2 episodes where they really break down what they've been doing with Second Try, how they've been launching, how they've been improving. There are very, very few, I would say, companies on YouTube, content companies on YouTube that are as transparent. Maybe Colin and Samir. That's it. I can't really think of anybody else. In terms of people who have like multimedia companies, they exist beyond just like the YouTube of it all. Because Second Try is a full-blown production company. They're producing content not only for themselves and for the main Try Guy cast, which right now is Keith and Zach, but for the extended Try Guy cast. Like, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with people like Joyce. I freaking love Joyce. She's so cool. She's a Black woman. She is just such an amazing representation to have. And I don't think we understand how important it is that a company like the Try Guys actually understands their place within this industry on online media and the change in which they can create. Jean, oh, sorry, I called her by her last name. Her name is Joyce Louise Jean. But Joyce being able to be a Try cast member and to be regularly featured in their content means that eventually, so should she choose, could produce her own show on the network of the Try Guys within their app, which is something that for someone like Joyce would be incredibly difficult to do. Imagine her pitching a show to Netflix. Not that it's impossible, but oh my goodness, would they take that opportunity to make something with her? I don't know. Same thing with Johnny Cakes. You know, although he's been on Netflix shows and series, having his own standalone content on Second Try could really do something. Again, excellent representation. And what they're doing in building out their network is actually showing people that we should take this online content thing a bit more seriously. I feel that Second Try, as it continues to grow and expand, is going to become a really incredible case study of how you can take your content, right? Take it from YouTube. I still think YouTube is the creme de la creme of content creation platform because it's long form. Right now, I understand short form content is the big thing, but baby, people's attention spans fluctuate so much, and everything is cyclical, right? It's a circle. So YouTube always comes back in style, comes back in fashion, but people also just wanting to listen to something for more than 5 seconds comes back around too. But it's showing us that you can do and start something on YouTube, right? Make your funny little videos. Do whatever you have to do to grab your audience attention. Start building something out there. Take it all the way to having your own streaming service. Get a cast and crew. Start a media production company. And then actually start multiplying on top of that. Expanding on top of that. I think I think in maybe like 2 years, the conversations we're going to be having with the Try Guys are going to talk about the awards that they've won for their production. Zach just freaking made a movie. So excited to see where that goes. And again, I just think it goes to prove, like, when you respect your audience, when you don't treat your audience like they're dumb, or if you don't do that, believe in that saying, like, well, if the audience doesn't know, can't see, then there's no, like, why tell? Pray tell. Like, you should tell your audience what's happening as much as you can with, as within contract. Like, share as much as you can with your audience. The more you make your audience feel like they are an actual part of the decision making, the further you'll go with your audience. The better you'll have a launch day. The Try Guys, to me, right, though it began as 3 white men and 1 Asian guy, like, the Try Guys for me have always been representative of what is possible on the internet, what you can achieve. And again, I'm going to always say this. I really feel like Ned's departure from the company allowed them to start making content that perhaps was being vetoed before, or perhaps because it wasn't a, unanimous yes, a resounding yes from all 4 parties, it just wasn't going to get made. I feel like the content, I'm not going to say it got better, got worse. I just think the content got a little more grown up. I just think the content got more grown up. But I also think the Try Guys realized the content was going to have to grow up. Something very grown up, you know what I mean, just happened very publicly. And not only was it affecting them as entertainment, as entertainers, and as co-founders, and as real life friends. And not only was it affecting their staff, but also the people that watch them. I don't think the Try Guys sees their audience as just like tickers, as just numbers. I think they truly see their audience as people who are growing up with them. The Try Guys are growing up. These men are in their 30s now, mid to maybe late 30s now, which means in 10 years, they'll be in their 40s. And the majority of their audience will either just be entering their 30s, right? Or maybe entering their late 20s. So you got to think about that. You don't want to always appeal. And I think at a certain age too, right? Like, if you've been making content on the internet for 10 years, yes, maybe when you were in your early 20s or mid 20s, your audience was, maybe about 10 years, 5 to 10 years younger than you were. But once you start getting up there, I'm 35, right? I'm not trying to relate to a 17-year-old. I really don't want 17-year-olds to be my audience. That's not to say that teenagers don't come across the Try Guy videos and relate and find them funny, but I don't think with the programming that the Try Guys produces now, I do not think that they want their audience to be teenagers. I think they are very much marketing to young adults and people their age, right? And maybe a decade older. But that's who they're looking to get involved and excited about what they produce. You have to respect your audience. You have to act like your audience understands what's going on. When you don't, you get a watcher. It feels like you just kind of told your audience, hey, give us money because we've been doing this a long time and it ain't making us enough money to do what we want to do the way that we want to do it. So you need to give us more money. Instead of, which I feel the Try Guys approach was, hey, we see that you guys, our core audience, is really receptive to a chunk of media that we produce that just doesn't perform well enough on the platform that's YouTube, simply because YouTube has its algorithms, and that's that. We don't own YouTube, so we don't get to control what YouTube pushes day by day. Here's our solution, and that's the difference. The Try Guys proposed Second Try and their streaming platform as a solution to a problem that their audience was having, not a solution to a problem that their company was having, that they wanted their audience to solve with money. See the difference? Like, that's the difference. And I'm not sure. I've watched a lot of videos about this kind of comparison between like Watcher and the Try Guys and how they both launched streaming services. I haven't really heard people like kind of make that argument or propose that argument. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of turned people off, because I do enjoy some of Watcher's content. I really, really do. I think the thing that I liked the most was Worth It. I mean, I followed Worth It, everywhere. Like, it's been produced. Worth It's been produced on quite a few channels and or platforms. I was super sad about that platform they had, though, that went defunct. About to Eat. That was, damn. Like, I was really excited. About to Eat. That channel was so great. I really wish we had some more insight on what happened there. But it is what it is. Anyway, I really have just not heard that conversation. The Try Guys presented a solution to a problem that the audience was having. Watcher was asking their audience to solve a problem that they were having as a company, a cash flow problem. And I that ain't the best way to go about it. Now, let's be honest, though. When you break it down, all in all, the Watcher and Try Guys are asking really the same thing. They're both saying YouTube is not going to be able to fully fund what we're doing anymore. Okay? It's just not. It's still huge chunk of profit, right? It's still very important. Like, it's very important, right? We are not abandoning the platform or YouTube, because it still probably accounts for at least 60% to 70% of company income and salary and stuff like that. And I'm accounting for not just ad revenue, but like brand deal, like brand deals, sponsorships, things like that. When I think they have like a Charmin or whatever, the toilet paper, something. But I remember one time I just saw that like as an ad for the Try Guys in video, like an in video ad, and I was like, toilet paper. But it makes sense, because baby, Keith do be eating a lot of food, and he has said he'd be having to go to the bathroom after that, so that makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure these brands at this point with the Try Guys, I mean, they have to be paying tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000 at minimum, to have these in video advertisements, because first of all, you are potentially going to reach millions of people. I think, again, because the Try Guys respects their audience so much, people use their links, people buy, people use their discount codes and what have you. So, like, it benefits a brand, especially if it's a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar brand. What's it to them to pay the Try Guys a couple tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, to promote a product? So, YouTube, for Watcher and the Try Guys, is still a huge chunk of income, profit, and salary for their employees. But where YouTube was like bread and butter, could cover pretty much all the expenses, we're including the brand deals, it's just not doing that anymore. And again, like, it's really neither of their fault as production companies. They don't own YouTube, and that's just the fact of the matter. They do not own YouTube. They don't get to decide what is and is not pushed on YouTube, what's popular. They could do all the SEO, all the analytics. They could have the most perfect thumbnail, tags, and title, and YouTube could still decide to only show their video to like 1/18th of their audience, because no matter what, YouTube decided, oh, that's not what's popular right now. We just changed our minds like 4 seconds ago. And what can they do about it? And this is another conversation on ownership. The Try Guys are showing us, and Watcher as well, why it's so important to own the platforms that your content exists on, or to find platforms that are more flexible in how you can retain that ownership of your IP, or just profit the most from your IP. Because at the end of the day, YouTube is taking a share, right, out of your ad revenue. They are. They're taking a share. You know, you got to pay on that. So it is what it is. When you control the platform that your content exists on, you have way more flexibility, first of all, on what you can even charge for advertisement. You're changing the whole game here. So I just wanted to make this video to just, one, express, you know, my love for the Try Guys and my respect for the Try Guys. I think that, especially now that the main Try Guy cast really consists of, right, these two white men, that they are still very cognizant and aware of the influence that they have on their audience, that their audience is still impressionable, their audience is still young or younger than they are, or their audience is just their age. And understanding that for themselves, though they're older, Keith is a father now, you know what I mean? They're not 95, like, they're still young. To be in your 30s, to be in your 40s, shoot, I would argue to be in your 50s, I don't care what everybody says, it's still to be quite young. Like, you're, in comparison to somebody who's 80 or 90, you're still quite young. So for them to always keep that in mind, you can even see it in the cast members for the first out. And I want to call this iteration of cast members like one. This is like, or like group zero. Like, this first Try Guys cast member introduction, I see them expanding this cast a few more times. And I also see a lot of this cast being moved up into positions where they are now having their own show on the Try Guys network, produced by Second Try. I think the Try Guys Second Try is going to give I think it's going to give a lot of streaming services actually a run for their money once they can start really getting more and more content produced that doesn't rely on Zach or Keith being in the content at all. They've done a very powerful thing here. That's another thing. They aligned themselves with such a broad scope of people in a way that Watcher didn't. So again, you know, you've really got this audience that actually is looking for more, but you're kind of giving them less when it comes to Watcher. Try Guys, you have this audience that is growing up with you, same way as Watcher, that is asking and looking for more, wants to continue to support your content, and you're giving them more, right? But you're also making sure your company is sustainable and has longevity. Everything can't have a Zach and Keith in it. Also, Zach and Keith fatigue. I'll be honest. Okay, y'all can act like I'll say it. I don't want to see Zach and Keith in every video. Sometimes I prefer Miles to be the subject of the video, or Rainy, you know, to be the subject of the video. Like, I don't know, like it just gives. It just gives a little more depending on the content. And now I definitely want to see Joyce way more. But again, I think it shows, Second Try shows that the Try Guys is really paying attention. And they've always been paying attention to their audience and how their audience is maturing. And they've been giving back with such reverence and respect. I hope that they continue to grow. I hope that they continue to expand. And I really do look forward to seeing the addition to the TriCast. I think that there are a number of people who could be added onto that cast that would actually round it out a bit more, in my opinion. And I might do a follow-up video about that, like who would I cast in the TriCast, because I do feel like they've had some guests on the TriPod and on the Try Guys videos that I was kind of like, oh, why are they not a cast member? Also, give it up for Quincy James. Also, I hope to see Quincy's wife in more videos as well. Even if she's just a guest star, she's so cute, she's so lovely, beautiful, beautiful woman. They are such a handsome, gorgeous, beautiful couple. I mean, mwah. But get up for Quincy James. Quincy was also like a no-brainer. Like if Quincy was on the staff, wasn't a Try Guy, we were gonna be like, nah, baby, y'all could have kept all of this if you weren't giving Quincy a job. But it's exciting. I think we have to start taking internet production a little more seriously. They're a full-blown production company, and they're doing great things, and we could all learn a lot more from respecting our audience. Your audience will always find you. Your audience will follow you anywhere if you respect them. If you respect them. If you invite them into the process. And if you let them know exactly why you're doing it. But also, let us think it's our idea. Which they did. Again, huge difference in presenting a solution to your audience for an issue that your audience is having that just so happens to benefit you and your company as well, versus presenting an issue that your company is having to your audience and asking your audience to resolve it. What the? Two different things. So big kudos to the Try Guys. Thank you for continuing to respect us as your audience. And keep growing. Keep expanding. Keep inviting us into the conversation. We look forward to seeing and hearing so much more from you all. I'll be interested to see if they would ever do some fan-produced, or if they would invest in producing projects by fans. That's an interesting concept. All right, y'all. Those are my thoughts.